Hey guys! Welcome to the channel! This is my last custom wallpaper for 2020. It's been really fun doing it and sharing it with you guys, even if I only started in September. This month's theme is Wicked, which I think is the most widely known of the musicals I've done. So, let's get into it! Before I talk about the wallpaper, there's stuff I want to address first. I'm considering starting a bullet journal for 2021. Nothing set yet, but I'm thinking about it. I thought it'd be fun to upload some Plan With Me's over here where you could see me make spreads for my bullet journal every month. I just don't know if you guys are enjoying the wallpaper series and want it to continue because Plan With Me's might take over the wallpaper upload schedule. I really enjoyed the musical theme, I just don't know if I'll be able to keep up making musical sets for another year. If you guys have suggestions for the topics I can make wallpapers, you can leave them down below. You guys can also tell me which one you'd rather see. Some Plan With Me videos, these wallpaper videos, or both. I'll take those into consideration if I choose to make a bullet journal next year. So make sure to leave them in the comments so I can keep making content that's fun for you guys to watch. Okay, enough about that, we have a wallpaper to talk about. Wicked is a show that I'd guess at least 90% of all musical fans know. It's been super popular since it started showing, and if it weren't for the current world situation, it would still be running in the Gershwin on Broadway. It's just a modern classic at this point. I chose it for December because I liked that I could have green as the main color of my desktop for Christmas time. After getting my new laptop and seeing the dynamic wallpaper for Macs, I had a really cool idea. Dynamic wallpapers are just wallpapers that automatically change depending on the time. It took me a while to decide where to use it on, and I used it here because I wanted to make something more grand for the last wallpaper of the year. Like usual, I already preset my floors and reference photos in Illustrator even before I start the recording just to prevent me from revealing any personal information about me while looking through my folders. Especially cause it's nearing the end of the semester, I had a relatively heavier schedule in November compared to the other months, so I wanted a way more minimalist look compared to the ones like Waitress and the Warpaint wallpaper. A bit of a conflict arose when a dynamic wallpaper implies making at least 2 wallpapers when I said I was gonna be busy. So I had to choose 2 scenes that would change into each other. Following the normal look of dynamic wallpapers, I chose 2 with generally the same style. The first one is the Emerald City set from the song Thank Goodness. I did my best to make the bridge with the circle cutouts and the railing. The original photo had a lot of layers with alternating black bands with different shades of green, and what looks like green trim made of neon lights. It was also filled with small lights that just made the entire set glitter. It made the entire set look so complex. Forming complex shapes is a bit challenging for this one, especially for the raindrop cutout of the bridge, and making the bridge itself. I wanted to make that steep angle on the bottom of the bridge so it wouldn't look like it wasn't attached to anything. The black bridge against a black background at some points made adding cutouts and details to the bridge pretty hard. At some points, I had to hide some of the fully blacked out parts so I could accurately make my shapes. I just did some diagonals for the railing on top instead of the grid to prevent more things for my computer to load, and I don't really want to lag it out. I knew I had to make another wallpaper and add so many lights later on, and I wouldn't want to make my computer lag because of loading too many things. Speaking of lights, they were the most time-consuming part of this entire project. Good thing I learned a new trick to place things semi-automatically. You use the Alt key to duplicate your image, then Command D to just redo the thing you just did, so I'm able to place all the lights and just do some adjustments later on. Trying to keep as much accuracy while also preventing my laptop from dying, and also trying to keep enough space for icons, I only added the dot lights to the bridge and I didn't choose to scatter them around the image. But I did take the time to use those lights to make outlines of the cutouts so they're visible. With the calendar, I just found a font that looks similar to the font in the logo and just placed it in the empty space under the bridge where the platform was in the show. I just did my normal calendar and just kept it black to match the rest of the set. The other part of the dynamic wallpaper is red. I think it's the Wizard's Lab where Elphaba tells the wizard to set the flying monkeys free. I thought it was from No Good Deed, but I remembered that the scene had smoke on stage and the reference didn't. It's the way simpler design out of the 2. I just had to make spikes for the bottom of the gate and use the same technique I used for the lights to make the gate even looking. The calendar for that I made white to echo the design from the poster and album cover where the main text is white on Elphaba's hair. I made those 2 scenes specifically because I thought it would be cool to have the red and green alternating for Christmas. but also have some sort of story symbolism. Like the Emerald City is green and bright and has a lot of lights, but they're being the bad people, while Elphaba is kind of suffering in the red, but she's the one who gets blamed for all the bad things happening when she's doing good. Now, how did I find out about the musical? So, kinda weird story. I found out about Wicked through its most famous song, the Act 1 finale, the song most people think about when the show is mentioned, Defying Gravity. Not that weird, right? People usually get into a musical because of the most mainstream song it has, but I found out through watching the show Glee. They did a cover of the song, people in the family liked Glee and listened to the covers, and I learned the song through that. After years and years of just knowing Popular and Defying Gravity, I decided to give it a listen. I legit just read the summary on Wikipedia to know the plot. I tried watching a bootleg of the original cast, but I got a little bored because of the video quality. Until the ever-mentioned person in the series, Stephanie J. Block. I told you guys I have an obsession. When I started diving into what roles she's played, I was screaming when I found out she was the original Elphaba, but she didn't make it to the original cast because she wasn't that known yet. But she did get to play her on tour and then on Broadway a few years later. So that revived my interest in watching the full musical, and I did last year. Through a bootleg, of course. Don't have the money to fly to New York, let alone go back in time to see her. For my favorite songs, Defying Gravity is always a classic, that goes without saying. The riffs that people add are getting insane, and I always get hyped when it gets to the "so if you care to find me" part. I don't want to sing it right now because I don't think I can pull it off. Wizard and I is also really good. The gradual progression really gets you rooting for Elphaba and wanting her to reach her dreams, even though you already know she won't. You can really appreciate the hope that's just woven inside the song. The belting at the end is also the ah! It's something you expect and don't expect at the same time. I also can relate to the proving yourself to be capable portion of that, and I don't have the time right now to share why. Wicked Witch of the East is actually a song that's not in the cast recording but is sung within the show. I love that it takes Nessa's part in dancing through life and her talking about how she's so happy that Bach asked her to be his date to the ball, to her getting desperate and attacking him with a spell she didn't know how to use when he goes to leave her, all with the same melody. It becomes her theme of unrequited love and how it pushed her to do everything just to keep Bach with her, because he only stayed feeling sorry she couldn't walk, but once she was able to do that with the shoes that Elphaba gave her, it gave him a way out and he took it. Finally, the all-time favorite couple classic, As Long As You're Mine. It was always a good song, but it got pushed to one of my favorites when I found out that Stephanie and her now husband, Sebastian Arcelas, sang it on stage together the day they snuck out before the evening show and got married. It's also such a nice song about how hard times can come, but it doesn't matter if you're with someone you love. It doesn't sound like it in the soundtrack, but the eventual love between Fiyero and Elphaba is pretty well developed, even if it's not the main focus of the plot. Every scene they have together just helps push that story forward, especially that scene with the caged lion. For my favorite Elphabas, you already know my top one, but for some others, I like Julia Murney, who I mentioned in another video before, Eden Espinosa, who invented the original alternate riff for Wizard and I, Anna Gasteyer, who is more known as a cast member of SNL, but her belt is so effortless. They're all earlier Elphabas, and I haven't listened to the more recent ones like Jessica Vosk and Rachel Tucker, who people say are also really good. And here's the final wallpaper with all my folders. I hope you guys really enjoyed this year's wallpapers. If this is the first one you've seen, then check out the playlist on the end card to see other ones I've made. Do you want me to do another wallpaper series next year, or would you rather see something new like monthly plan with me's, or both? Make sure to tell me in the comments below. If you want to see more videos from me, just click the subscribe button and the bell to know when I post. I try to upload every week, Monday nights at 8. I guess that's all for this video. Bye guys!